to a flea market. Number 2, reduce. Buy only what you need and share with your neighbors.
1 iced Americano coming right up.
Can I get that in my tumbler? Number 3, reuse. Single use, that's not how we do things.
This is such a hassle. Let's just throw it all in together.
You've got to peel off the labels and rinse them out. Number 4, recycle. Rinse it, peel it, and recycle properly.
This looks different from other sponges.
It's a biodegradable loofah. Number 5, rot. Choose a product that returns to nature.
Refuse, reduce,
Reuse, recycle,
and rot. The 5R pledge to protect our planet.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어 방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM Busan 영어 방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산 영어 방송 to your Kakao friends list.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. Let me begin with a question. Do you remember going on field trips when you were younger? 자, 요즘은 그거를 현장 체험 학습이라고 하죠. I loved going on field trips, and I feel that they definitely added to, the school experience and created lasting memories. However, at least in Seoul, the number of field trips has drastically dropped. Only 3 in 10 elementary, middle, and high schools in Seoul have conducted or planned field trips this year. This is based on data from the Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education. So just 3 years ago, that number stood at 87%. 87% on average, and now it's down to like 30%. So why the sharp decline? Well, a growing number of parents, they seem to be complaining. And so teachers, a growing number of the teachers have grown reluctant to organize field trips due to safety accidents and, once again, complaints from parents. No more sports day, no more playing outside during recess or lunch, no more field trips? What is going on? I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan. On Tuesday, May 26th, we are live on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you had a great weekend and are ready to kick off our week together live today on our show. So, a little sad to hear that field trips are kind of declining, at least in Seoul, but I have heard in the Busan area as well, not as many because teachers find it too difficult to organize. They're always worried about what kids are doing, about safety accidents, and of course, the complaints from parents. And the complaints I hear are various in terms of why they're complaining. Anyhow, leaving that aside for now, I want to ask you how your weekend was. And that's actually our text topic for this Tuesday morning. Feeling like a Monday, but it's actually Tuesday. So show us how your weekend was through photos. That's right. 여러분, 연휴 어땠는지 사진으로 보여주세요. So you can send them in. The best way probably is through Kakao Talk. So to find our account, type in BEFM 부산 영어 방송. And once you do, add us as a friend if you haven't already, and then send in your messages and photos that way. But if not, you can also describe your weekend. That's fine as well. So you can send them in through the live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM, 부산 영어 방송, to find us. And then subscribe, log in, chat with other waivers, and send in your messages. Photos cannot be sent in that way, just to let you know. You can also send your messages in through the traditional route, pound 9050, shop 050. That's going to cost you 100 won. Once again, best way is to send your photos through the yellow messenger service. You can also tune into your program through the radio, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. That's on the radio if you're in the Busan area. Like I said, we're streaming live on YouTube right now. You can also check us out on the BFM app and the Papang app as well. So it is Tuesday. We have Jian for Now in Busan. We have Haley for Top Stories and Wagga Wagga Tea Time in hour number 2. And then we have Andrew coming in today for Wave Sports. We also have Trend Whisper with Han. For our special interview, we're going to be talking about the return of Ebola. That's been in the news as of late, and so we want to know how serious this is. And with international travel, we always have to be on the lookout for diseases like this. So we're going to find out with an expert in hour number 2. For now, we're going to turn to Jian. Let's see how she's been doing. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you had a good weekend.
It was great.
Can you tell us a little bit or do you have photos, or can you describe?
Yes, I had so much fun.
Ooh, what is this?
So that's actually the ice flake bingsu with mangoes. As you can see, mangoes.
Ooh.
And I also was invited to a comedy show by Haeyeon, actually.
Yes.
Right on the next. It was so much fun. And I also had some whiskey.
I love. Nice. Well, thank you for sharing. It sounds like you had a good weekend. All right, so we're going to jump into our local news. Busan is moving to ease commuters' burden during rush hour. So what's the new measure?
Beginning June 1st, Busan residents will be able to use 가락IC free of charge during weekday rush hours. The benefit applies to all vehicle types as long as the driver is registered as a Busan resident.
Yes. So when exactly does this free toll apply?
So it covers weekday commuting hours from 6 to 9 in the morning and 5 to 8 in the evening. Drivers will first pay as usual, and then the toll will be fully reimbursed.
Yes, and why has this toll issue been such a big concern?
Since 가락IC opened back in 2001, people have complained that they have to pay highway tolls even for short local trips.
Right.
That frustration has been especially strong among Western Busan residents who cross the Busan-Gimhae border every day, as well as logistics companies.
All right, so thanks for letting us know about this new measure. Moving on, let's talk about BTS Yes, Busan is gearing up for their concert next month, and the city is coming together in a unique way to welcome fans from around the world. So what's happening?
The city is launching an initiative to help international BTS fans stay in Busan without facing unreasonable accommodation costs. The idea is to offer affordable and in some cases completely free places to stay while also cracking down on price gouging.
Yes. So who's stepping up to help?
Pomosa Samsa Temple is offering free stays for 20 international guests from June 11th through the 14th, including shared rooms and temple meals. Seonamsa Temple and Hongbopsa Temple are joining too, and other temples like Naewonjeongsa Temple are offering affordable temple stay options that have already been fully booked.
I see. So it sounds like more than just a place to sleep, though.
Exactly. Many of these temple stays also include simple cultural programs like traditional Buddhist meals and opportunities to experience Korean temple life.
Yes, and other places, they're helping out too?
Yes, public lodging facilities are also taking part. Busan Urban Corporation's Phenom kept its regular room rates despite the expected concert rush and has already sold out.
Okay.
Youth training centers are also providing low-cost rooms for hundreds of international visitors.
Yes, I love the fact that our city is helping in this
Welcoming,
way.
yes.
All right, next up, Korea has safely brought another oil tanker through the Red Sea. We need the latest on this one.
A fifth Korean vessel has now safely passed through the Red Sea and is now on its way back to Korea with crude oil. The update was confirmed as of 4 p.m. May 23rd.
Yes, and why is this significant?
The Red Sea has become a critical alternative route after the Strait of Hormuz was blocked. That disruption forced Korean shipping companies to reroute crude oil deliveries to keep energy supplies moving.
Yes, and when did Korean ships first begin using this route?
The first Korean oil tanker made the Red Sea crossing in mid-April.
Okay.
That vessel later arrived at Yeosu on May 7th, successfully completing the route. The latest tanker loaded crude oil at Yanbu port in Saudi Arabia before beginning its trip to Korea. That makes it the fifth confirmed Korean tanker to safely complete the Red Sea passage since the route adjustments began.
Yes, thanks for letting us know about this oil tanker passing. Next up, Busan is offering free transportation for voters with mobility challenges during the upcoming local election. So how will this work?
Yes, Busan Facilities Corporation says its special transportation service, 두리발, will be available free of charge to help transportation vulnerable citizens to get to polling stations. The goal is to make sure everyone can exercise their right to vote without difficulty.
That's right. So when will this service be available?
It will operate during both early voting days, May 29th and 30th, as well as on official election day, June 3rd.
Yes.
Service hours will run from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day.
So who can use these services?
The service is available to registered 두리발 members, including people with disabilities and other eligible citizens with limited mobility. Users need to make a reservation in advance by calling the integrated call center.
Yes, and will riders have to pay anything?
No, not at all. The service is completely free for eligible users. The National Election Commission will reimburse the transportation costs afterward.
All right, thanks for letting us know about this one. All right, for our final story, we're going to talk about the National Maritime Museum, which is preparing a special hands-on festival to celebrate Sea Day, like 바다. What can visitors expect?
Yes, the museum will host the 2026 Marine Education and Culture Expo this Friday and Saturday on May 29th and 30th. The event is designed as an interactive festival where children and families can enjoy exhibitions, learning programs, and play activities all in one place.
That's right. So what's happening for younger children?
There will be a children's playground on the first floor where kids can make and wear traditional hats inspired by Joseon Dynasty diplomatic envoys while exploring the exhibition. There's also a junior curator workshop where children can experience packaging blue and white porcelain 청화백자.
Ooh, that sounds very hands-on.
It is. There'll also be craft activities that connect maritime culture with traditional Korean art, including folding screen making and creating mother-of-pearl drawer boxes.
Nice. What about activities for families?
Yes, for the families, the fourth floor family playground will feature interactive experiences like an AI interview with explorer James Cook. Visitors can also try artifact cube puzzles and dress paper dolls in traditional clothing.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for letting us know all of the local news. And we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Jin.
Thank you.
All right. I'll be back with your traffic and weather. time for a traffic report. First up, it is congested on Mandakdero from Sukdong to Deokcheon intersection. Also backed up on Luno Samsung-dero from Myeongji Underpass to Shinho Bridge. It's looking slow on Dongso Overpass from Hwangyong Ramp to Kaegum. Also, there's traffic building on Ulsukdo-dero from Changpyeong Underpass to Shinpyeong Jangnim Industrial Complex in that direction. Currently, it's 21 degrees here in Busan already under partially cloudy skies. It's expected to go up to 24. Heavy rain is forecast starting later in the day, so make sure you are prepared. Local authorities have preemptively banned entry to riverside trails, and a landslide alert level of caution has been issued in Busan and Gyeongnam. So, yes, keep that in mind. And this was your traffic and weather. It is time for the morning brief. And so in our first bit of news, we are going to be looking at the rival parties who are pouring out all resources to solidify the voter base. The ruling and opposition parties were in full campaign mode over the long weekend and gearing up for the June 3rd local elections to start this Friday. He calls for tougher punishment for hateful speech and conduct. President Lee Jae-myung called for a public debate on introducing tougher measures against those who post hateful and derogatory content online or engage in such behavior. Foreign Ministry calls on Israel to investigate assault claims by activists. The Foreign Ministry said yesterday it has pressed Israel to conduct a thorough investigation into claims by 2 South Korean activists that were assaulted by Israeli forces after being detained aboard aid vessels bound for the Gaza Strip. Police question more accusers in Starbucks case. The police are questioning additional complainants in a case against Shinsegae Group chairman Chung Yong-jin, as Chung is scheduled to issue an in-person public apology today. Trump says Iran negotiations proceeding nicely, warns of stronger attack if no deal is reached. U.S. President Donald Trump said that peace negotiations with Iran are proceeding nicely, while warning that if a peace deal is not reached, U.S. attacks would resume on a scale bigger and stronger than ever before. And this was the morning brief. You're now listening to hour number 1 of Morning Wave in Busan. We're now going to turn to Haley for top stories. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you had a good weekend.
I had a good weekend, but it was so long. It just felt long.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did it really?
I mean, this week feels even longer, but yeah, this day is so long.
So
What's
we
happening?
want photographic proof of your weekend.
I think, are we doing it on hour number 1 or 2?
We are. Yes.
I think we're going to save it for
we're going to
Walker.
save that for number 2.
Stay tuned.
Hour number
If you
2.
want my pictures,
Yes.
stay tuned.
Because we have some election-related news that we have to dive into. Work is underway for both the major parties and their spheres for possible candidate mergers.
Right, because we are now at D-8 days until the June 3rd local elections, and there's a bit of infighting going on within both the DP, the Democratic Party, and the opposition People Power Party, or the PPP spheres.
Yes.
So with that, we're looking at 3 major spots: the race for the Jeonbuk provincial governor, along with the Pyeongtaek-il parliamentary re-election, and right here, Busan's Bukgu-Gap by-election.
Yes, so walk us through these 3 regions.
Right, so we're going to first go to Jeonbuk, the governor race, where the rivalry is within the Pan-Democratic Party field. So right now we have independent candidate Kim Gwan-young, who was previously expelled from the DP, and he's running against DP's candidate Iwon-taek.
Yes.
This has sort of turned into a pro Lee versus pro Chung Chong-rae, the chair of the Democratic Party faction fight. Kim is within the pro Lee faction, Iwon-taek within pro Chung Chong-rae. And the party's throwing its weight behind Iwon-taek, with heavyweights having visited Jeonbuk to rally with Lee.
Yes. So let's go to the capital area for the next heated race.
Right, so this is another DP/center progressive race. The Democratic Party's candidate here is Kim Yong-nam, who was a conservative but joined the DP in the last presidential election. But then he's running against Cho-guk of Rebuilding Korea Party. Again, we're seeing some Democratic Party faction fault lines showing here. So Kim Yong-nam has support from the DP leadership and the pro-presidential factions. But another faction here is with the former President Moon Jae-in's faction, because some members within this group have endorsed Cho-guk because, of course, Cho was the justice minister and a senior aide within the previous Moon administration.
Okay.
But this isn't it. This race is a 5-person race, so whether these two figures can merge their candidacy could be a major variable here.
Indeed. And now we're going to bring it back to Busan, this conservative infight.
Right, so here in Busan's Pukkap district, former People Power Party or PPP chair, but now running as an independent, it's Han Dong-un against PPP's Bang Min-sik, who was a former Patriots and Veterans Affairs minister.
Yes.
So they're said to be currently splitting the conservative vote, and they're actually attacking each other as the traitor to the party. And of course, they are running against former Cheongwade's AI aide, Democratic Party's Ha Jong-woo.
Well, let's talk about the constituency of this election.
That would be us, the voters. So according to the Interior and Safety Ministry, they've announced that the number of eligible voters for the June 3rd elections came to 44,649,908 people.
Yes.
Of these, 44,409,225 are South Korean nationals, but this also includes 89,000 Koreans who are living abroad. And because it is the local elections, foreign nationals who have permanent residency, 151,000 of them are also eligible to vote.
Okay.
And by the way, that figure of foreign nationals, huge increase, more than triple from about 12 years ago.
Yes. Well, what about the age and regional demographics?
Right, so we're looking at those in the 50s as the biggest group, accounting for about 19.34% of the total. Those in their 60s followed, a little under 18%. 40s, a little under 17%, and then seniors over the age of 70. Then we get to the younger group, those in their 30s for 15%, 20s and teens, a very small 2.14%.
Yes.
Regionally, this makes sense. Gyeonggi accounted for 26.6% of voters, Seoul 18.63%, but Busan at 6.4%.
Right.
Interestingly, though, Busan also had the district that has the smallest number of eligible voters out of the 14 regions that are selecting or reselecting their National Assembly representatives, and that would be the Pukkap district.
I see. Well, early voting is happening this week.
Right, so hopefully you get Election Day next Wednesday, June 3rd off. But if you have plans or if you are maybe living outside of your actual election jurisdiction,
yes,
early voting is this Friday and Saturday. That would be the 29th and the 30th, respectively. The thing about early voting in Korea is you can do it anywhere within the country. But come Election Day, June 3rd, you only can vote at your designated polling station.
All right. Thanks for giving us the latest on the election. All right. Up next, the Samsung Electronics Labor Union is voting on the tentative wage deal. Do we have any updates?
We do. So voting ends tomorrow, and voter turnout is quite high. So as of yesterday, 87% voted out of the 57,000 eligible members of the union. So they are very well past the quorum needed to reach half. And now the key is whether the votes will have a majority to accept the tentative deal.
Yes. And what are the key factors we're watching for?
Right. So it turns out that a lot of the non-semiconductor sector or department employees are disgruntled that they will only be getting about 6 million won in incentives under that wage deal.
Okay.
However, because most of them have left the union, their voices, at least in this vote, will not be heard. So the key demographic for this vote, it's the union members within the semiconductor parts, but are in non-memory departments.
I see.
Because they have seen a reduction in what they may get as incentives between what the original union's demand was versus what the tentative deal is right now. So the chair of the Unions Associations, Choi Seung-ho, is trying to put out that fire and said that he will push for a confidence vote within June, regardless of the results.
Yes, yes. So there is a rift over incentives even within the same company once again. And the gap is even bigger if you look at the entire sector.
Absolutely, because globally, the entire chip sector, the chip industry, is in an unprecedented boom. So if you are maybe in the 반도체 sector and you tell people that, they might think, oh, you must be loaded. But then you might not be, because worker treatment and wages are vastly different depending on the company size and the type of your employment.
Right.
So this is according to the Korea Statistical Information Service, KOSIS's wage figures in electronic parts and computer manufacturing. Of course, in South Korea, we always have this division, regular versus irregular, right? 정규직 and 비정규직.
Yes.
So full-time regular 정규직 workers got paid an average of 7.46 million won per month. And that is perhaps in line with what we might think of as a chips manufacturer making. But let's compare that to temporary irregular workers, 2.69 million won.
Oh.
That is below the medium wage line.
Right.
But of course, temporary, so we don't know how many hours they're working and etc. Also, major factor, as always, are you working for a conglomerate versus an SME, right? If you are working for a major corporation, which has 300 or more employees, the average salary here was 9.42 million won per month. But for mid-size and smaller, under 300 people, 4.5 million won, which is, again, not bad. But if you look at it, it's double the difference.
Indeed. And these are just the regular wages.
Absolutely. Incentives, an even bigger difference. Regular workers made 5.87 million won in incentives. Take that, compare that with non-regular workers, 490,000 won. So about more than a 10 times difference. So experts say that, with this boom in semiconductors, that wage and incentives gap will continue to grow most likely. So therefore, they're saying that with this, there may be a need for a new perspective in discussing how to distribute the excess profits for the company, not just for the shareholders, but the employees, but all parties of interest.
I see. Well, speaking of a new perspective, some experts are pointing to this new generation of unions.
The MZs in unions, the millennials and Gen Zs. And insiders have pointed to this demographic as a new shift in the latest round of Samsung Electronics negotiations. So number one, the Samsung Electronics Union chose to be a separate singular union rather than be a part of one of the two umbrella unions in the country. So that makes it one of the biggest single company unions. Add to that, millennials and Gen Zs are known to have more of an individualistic sentiment instead of a collective sentiment. And on top of that, the pride, according to experts, they feel at being a member of the country's biggest company.
Yes, yes. But isn't the whole point of labor unions to seek and protect members' interests?
Of course, and that's why they pay union dues.
Yes.
But it's a lack of solidarity that traditional unionists are pointing to as what's been different here. But apart from this particular agreement was reached because the government, even up to the labor minister, was in the room with the negotiations and mediating.
Yes.
So in South Korea, there has been always criticism of a weak system that allows for the company and the union to have these dialogues by themselves.
Yes, yes. All right, well, let's go to the greater workforce and employment.
So long-term unemployment persons is at a 22-year high, and the majority of being those in their 20s and 30s.
Yes.
So these long-term unemployed persons are individuals who have been looking for jobs for at least 6 months. So again, according to KOSIS data, it shows that while the number of unemployed persons overall, 실업자, actually decreased last year, the number of long-term unemployment persons, 장기 실업자, increased by 30,000.
Ooh, so what's the reason for this?
Right, so short-term, though, in the recent year, it's been the impact of the war in the Middle East on the labor market that's diminishing hiring. And that because existing unemployed individuals kind of got pushed to the beyond 6-month mark due to the tough market. The job seeking period is also likely getting longer because employers are preferring experienced workers as opposed to new recruits. And these new recruit pushes, the mass recruiting periods, are not common anymore.
Yes, yes. But are young people actually looking for jobs?
Right. So it's been interesting, of course, but while small and mid-sized enterprises, SMEs, they are always looking for qualified workers.
Yes.
But some young persons are getting picky, apparently. Especially, it's all about relative and perception, right? After hearing on the news every single day about these mega bonuses, like 몇억 won bonuses, some are saying they'd rather search for jobs for longer and work on various certificates and licenses rather than jump in hastily to the workforce.
Right, and this seems to be leading to people who get their first full-time job at a much older age than before.
Right, because I do want to know for our waivers, like what age were you when you got your first like full-time job? Right, 여러분 취업 언제 몇 살에 하셨나요? And then because we all have different ages, and then we even here and elsewhere we have the new recruits coming in, and you're like, oh wait, you're how old? You know, age is just a number, but it's just the experiences are vastly different. And this is a social phenomenon because the employment gap between those who are under 30 and those who are in their 30s is at the biggest ever.
Oh.
So employment rate for those who are in their 30s, 81%. So that means out of everybody who's in their 30s, over 80% are working. But let's look at the under 30, 43.7%. So 81 versus 43.7.
Wow.
Of course, people in their 20s, this is when the employment rate is at a low because you're for the first few years of your 20s, you're in school. For men, military service. You're preparing for jobs, job seeking anyways. But that figure has been getting lower and lower every year. And they go from this pattern, unemployment, to 쉬었음, meaning they're not looking for employment or not in training.
Yes, and this is definitely different from how the younger generation of the past operated.
Right, because we previously thought of employment as this ladder, 사다리. So meaning you go into the job market on the bottom rung, right? The starter job. We had that term once upon a time. And then you continue to climb up that ladder and make your way upward. But that first rung is getting higher and higher nowadays, especially with AI sort of replacing those entry-level jobs. So experts say that with these structural problems prevalent, so if we neglect these young unemployed workers, this could cause social instability.
Yes, yes. Thanks for letting us know about what's going on here. We're going to move on and talk about this. The number of finance-related accidents has been growing at a rapid pace.
Right. So the number of accumulated amount of incidents or accidents involving financial scams, embezzlement, and breach of trust, so that would be 사기, 횡령, and payme, have collectively exceeded 1 trillion won in the last 6 years. Right? And these have reached the highest figure last year and apparently on average happening every other day. So let that sink in. And this is according to the Financial Supervision Services report released by PPP lawmaker Kang Min-guk.
Okay, so what kind of cases are we talking about?
Scams, unfortunately, were the most prevalent at 40% of the total. And then they were followed by professional breach of trust, embezzlement, and right-out theft.
Oh.
So what kind of scams are we talking about? A lot of them happened within banks. So if you're going to get a loan, you would, not you, but someone would inflate the value of their collateral. 담보 가치 부풀리기, or falsifying papers so you could get a better loan. So this led to banks losing out on over 769 billion won worth of money.
Yes.
So experts are calling for tightening internal controls within these financial services and also by the authorities.
Yes, yes. For our final story, though, we are seeing significant movement in the U.S.-Iran ceasefire, I hear.
Things are moving along, but both sides are very cautious.
Okay.
So multiple outlets, including the Iranian state media and the Washington Post, they've reported that the U.S. and Iran have developed, an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding framework that would extend the current ceasefire by 60 days.
So what's in this deal?
So a couple of important parts. So again, extension of the ceasefire, number one, but we're always looking at that strait. The Strait of Hormuz, right? So here, under this particular framework, the Strait of Hormuz would see its naval mines removed and reopened with traffic restored to pre-war levels, not immediately, but within 1 month, so 30 days. Also, the framework calls for Iran, the U.S., and the allies to declare an immediate end to military operations on all fronts, and that would include Lebanon.
Yes. Well, the major sticking point so far has been on Iran's nuclear development.
Right, so it seems that this is the point that's led to kind of fall-throughs in previous agreements. So this deal would commit Iran to never developing nuclear weapons and to disposing of its stockpile of enriched uranium through an agreed upon method. And we are seeing some breaking news that President Trump is hinting that it would be possible to get rid of this enriched uranium within Iran's borders.
Oh, okay. So that's the latest thus far. Anything else you need to report on? Because the sides, they haven't really confirmed nor denied.
Right. So
Anything else?
because nobody wants to say, kind of give their hand, like show their hand, right? So
Right.
President Donald Trump said that the negotiations were going in an orderly and constructive manner,
Okay.
but it's not fully negotiated yet. That's because some hawks, hardliners within his own Republican Party, they kind of blamed him for rushing things, and he is defending himself against that.
Yes. Well, what about Iran?
So Iran's foreign ministry said that it's confirmed the broad progress has been made, but that doesn't mean that it's ready to actually sign.
Yes.
So the foreign ministry spokesperson said that the two countries have reached a consensus on large portions of the topic, but with a focus on ending the war, not the nuclear issues.
I see. Well, thank you so much for going over the top stories, and we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, before we get to a song break, shout out to the 전국 소년 체전. It's going on in Busan right now. It's the last couple days. So I know that some of you have kids who are participating. And just to cheer them on, it's happening in Busan. And I believe this is a photo that was sent in, may I guess, from Taejin, right? Because his daughter is participating. So fighting to all the contestants and participants, but of course to Taejin's daughter as well. So good luck. Here is our song. This is 버스 안에서 by Chaja.
Korea Broadcast Advertising Corporation, known as KBACO, supports TV advertisement production for innovative small and medium-sized enterprises and you can get up to 45 million won. Apply until June 1st, 6 p.m. Please visit the Kobako website for more details.
Welcome back, everybody. Before we dive into Wave Sports, reading some of your messages and looking at some of your photos. So this is a photo that was sent in from Kaewon-nim. And this is, oh, look at the roses. Oh, my goodness. Strolling around Anyangjeon Jangmiwon, the Garden of Roses. And I have to say, wow, look at the colorful roses. We're talking about red and peach and pink. And the pale pink, ivory roses. And there's like a tinge of pink at the edge of the petals. Love, love. So beautiful. So greatly appreciated. And of course, we will post more. And this is a photo also from 사랑더님, who apparently went to the Bosong tea farm field and sent in photos from there. How peaceful and serene. And this is also from 약산도, 신지도 Island as well. So thank you for sharing your weekend with us. And I believe there might be one more, but we're going to get to Andrew and Wave Sports. So here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah, I was trying to send a photo to Phenom. Phenom, it's the second picture, so it'll look better on the screen if you want to pop that up there. If you don't want to, I totally understand. There's better people with better photos. Yeah. How are things?
How are you?
I'm doing well. We'll say well. Not fantastic. Well. Yeah. But overall, not too bad. How are things with yourself?
I don't know. I've had this migraine since yesterday.
Oh,
I rarely
the
get
worst.
migraines. It's like once a year. It just happened to be yesterday, moving into today.
Yeah.
I went to bed early.
I'm one of those people
it.
who get migraines, and when I do, it's like it's total shutdown. Like
I feel it.
It's kind of for people who never had a migraine before. I love when people. Sorry, I'm not trying to discredit anybody.
Right.
There's my photo from. This is down at the Nakdong Estuary or their Nakdong Eco Park.
Yes.
And I was there on Saturday. It was a beautiful day.
It looks beautiful.
If you've never been there, please go check it out. It's maybe I want to say like an unsung hero of Busan. There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. But yeah, for people who don't get migraines and like, I got a migraine, and then they get one, they're like, I had no idea what this is about.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So
hit by truck.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
We're going to jump into some sports news and lighten the mood.
We're going to kick things off here with the AFC Women's Champions League. Now, we talked about this last week, how everything was going on up in Suwon. And we're going to get to our clip here to start things off, which will lead us into everything.
Rushes off Yuna Aoki, and Kim Kyung-young is arriving. One touch, and she fires it home. A brilliant transition goal. It just had to be her. The captain, Kim Kyung-young, delivers again, as she did in the semi-final against Suwon. And Tokyo Verdy, they've been nullified today as the final whistle sounds. Nego Young found the AFC Champions League winners 2026.
Yes. Describe what happened.
Yeah, so this is the clip there was of the final where Naegohyang Women's FC made history by lifting the championship trophy for the AFC Women's Champions League, just edging out Japan's Tokyo Verde Beleza 1-0, courtesy of that 44th minute goal that we heard in the clip. Now, the victory capped off a highly anticipated tournament that saw North Korean athletes, as we talked about last week, cross the border for the first time in almost 8 years. And it was, I want to say, I don't know, it was highly anticipated, but there was a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes that I feel may have maybe taken away from what was going on the pitch.
Yes.
So yes, the North Korean team won. They won the $1 million USD prize pool, which is kind of unbelievable as well. Also, it's pretty much their national women's team, or it is their national women's team who is playing for them. But it got very political after the fact. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, and I'm not trying to add fuel to the fire here. I'm just kind of reporting the news.
What happened?
Exactly. So in the stadium last week, and that was a game we were talking about last Wednesday because I was in here on Wednesday last week. It was between Suwon FC and Nagoyang. And that their game was highly anticipated, obviously not just because of North Korean athletes crossing the border, but also kind of the North Korea, South Korea rivalry, if you want to have it. And the thing was here that there was a large contingent of domestic civic groups that turned out with banners to cheer enthusiastically for the North Korean team. Now, obviously, if you're the home team, you would hope or you would anticipate that you're going to have home field advantage. And I still will say that there was quite a few Suwon FC fans there. But I don't know, it just the civic group were quite loud.
Yes.
So, this really left a bitter taste in the mouths of the home team. And also Suwon coach Park Hyung, he didn't hold back, stating in a press conference that his staff and players felt deeply hurt by all this, emphasizing that as a proud South Korean club, they expected to kind of have home field advantage when it was home field advantage. Yeah, we got some photos up here on if you're watching on YouTube Live. And it was, I don't know, it seems, and I've seen this in the past when North Korean teams have come to South Korea, there is like, because usually they don't bring their fans can't travel with them. Or when it was the Pyeongchang Olympics as well, there were civic groups out cheering for them then. And, I don't know, there's people, it's kind of, you're between a rock and a hard place in the sense where people have one opinion and they have another. But obviously, he came out, the coach, and said this year that, I was hoping that we would have the home field advantage. Also, that game, I mean, there was a missed penalty, and I really think that, they missed an opportunity there, Suwon FC. But congratulations to Nagoyang FC, and we'll see where they're at next year.
Yes, certainly talking point.
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on
Sure.
to the Lotte Giants. We need a weekly recap by popular demand. People want to hear about
Well,
it.
this is I got threats last week. I was like, what's going on here, everybody?
People want
a couple weeks prior, they're like, we don't want to hear anything about them.
Right, exactly. It's a roller coaster.
They win one game, and everyone's like, where's the Giants? So the Lotte Giants experienced what we'll call kind of a roller coaster of a week in the KBO. I want to say it's a great positive week for the Lotte Giants.
Okay.
There was travel, there was some bad weather, but there was also some wins. Which that's all we're looking for, really, all right?
Yes.
So the week began on a high note in Daejeon as the Giants took 2 out of 3 from the Hanwha Eagles. Probably could have been 3 of 3 if it wasn't for the weather.
Okay.
They got rained out one day, but they were able to take 2 of the 3, finding power from the bottom of their batting order, which is something that they haven't had throughout the season. So that was really, really good to see.
Okay.
Also, their bullpen, it's funny when people are wondering how are they going to close out games, but if the bullpen doesn't have a chance to close out games, they can't really show what they're made of.
Sure.
And in these games, they definitely did. But they did return to Sajic over the weekend against the Samsung Lions. It was a bit of a challenge, we'll say. They did fight back in the game on Saturday. I watched the end of that one, and it was a good game. It had a little bit of everything.
Yes.
And Sajic was absolutely rocking it. When you're watching on TV and you almost feel like you're there.
Yes.
Like you turn it up loud enough, you're like, I'm in the chance right now.
there.
This is great. Sunday was a bit different. So Lotte's main storyline over the weekend was their struggle to find some offensive rhythm. But on Sunday, and this is one of the things about baseball, when guys hit it grand slams, home runs, whatever, you kind of respect it.
Yes.
On the pitching side, you're looking for, the no-hitter, the shutouts. And this is kind of what happened on Sunday. So Samsung starter Yang Chang-sup delivered a flawless, we'll call it a bit of a KBO masterpiece, something we don't see too often. A complete game, one-hit shutout with 0 walks.
Wow.
Yeah, so Lotte simply had no answers for his command, dropping the final 10-0. It would have been fine if it was like 3-0.
10-0.
But then it was just adding, salt to the wounds there. Forcing a 3-2 game, their record 3-2 across their 5-game week because of that one that was rained out.
Right.
But yeah, I want to say they're trending in the right direction. Just keep getting some of the same momentum this
You're
week.
so positive,
we'll hope.
Andrew.
I'm trying to be.
Yes.
Trying to be.
Yes. Keep your heads up.
Does that fill everyone's Lotte Giants void?
I guess. It's so funny because today it's like crickets.
Yeah, I know.
On the day Andrew doesn't mention them, they're
Come
like,
on,
where are the
people.
Lotte Giants news?
I think everyone's got the holiday hangover.
Yes, and
Maybe that's
Trustmaster
what it
says
is.
Giants need a better bullpen.
Well, I just think that they need to get them there. They need to be able to hold on to leads until they get them there.
Yes.
And set them up. Not bringing these guys in when they're down by 3.
Yeah,
Or
that's
bringing
true.
a guy in when there's bases loaded up by a run in the 7th inning. Nah, it's not going to work.
Right.
Not going to work.
All right. Let's talk about something else. Something that you and I are excited about.
I'm very excited for
We
this.
talked about it over the weekend, Andrew and I did.
So this is about golf and Live Golf
Yes.
is landing in Busan this week. It prepares for its second ever stop in the Korean Peninsula, following its highly successful South Korean debut last year at the Jack Nicklaus Golf Club in Incheon. And it was I've watched a lot of the highlights. The galleries were huge up there.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just because a lot of people from Seoul were going, but
Maybe.
it is really anticipated here. Tickets are moving quite quickly, so if you haven't got your tickets, they're still available. You can still get them. You can get them for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So,
Right.
or if you feel ambitious and you want to grab the entire week,
When are you going? What day?
I'll be there Friday for a bit in the afternoon, all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
So jealous.
Yeah.
Because I'll be busy this weekend, so I'm
Yeah.
going on Thursday.
Going on Thursday, yeah.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting if you've never gone to or never witnessed Live Golf on TV or in person. It is a bit different than the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
PGA Tour sometimes is a bit more laid back or subdued, if you will.
Subdued.
They you turn down the volume.
Yes.
Where Live Golf kind of are like, we're going to turn it up as loud as we can go. Hence why they used to have only 3 days. Now they've moved to 4 days, 72.
Yes.
A whole competition. But you kind of get a little bit more up close and personal with the athletes, and then also the atmosphere around the event. Also, Saturday night, there will be a live DJ, international DJ Peggy Goo. All
will be
right.
there.
So very, very well known around the world. But all the big names are here. Nobody's missing.
Bryson's
So
coming?
Bryson's there, yeah,
Yes.
for sure. But it'll be interesting to see how everything goes. But yeah, if any of our listeners are out there and you see me, give me a shout. Say hello.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
for
there
sure.
Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Anything else that we need to mention?
One last thing here, and this is
Yes.
something I always try to give as much light to the younger guys who need it. This guy definitely does not need it. The Philadelphia Phillies made a major splash in the international market over the weekend. This is with the MLB, in case you're unaware who the Phillies are.
Yes.
Signing 17-year-old. Let me say that again. 17-year-old South Korean phenom right-hander Park Chan-min to a historic $1.205 million.
17.
Actually, I believe this might be just his signing bonus.
Yes.
All right. To secure the towering 6'4" prospect from Gwangju, Ilgo. The legendary high school program has produced, I believe it's 5 or 6 MLB stars. And the team had to move around a bunch of lower league prospects to
Right.
free up money for the international market. So before that this guy went into the KBO draft.
Yes.
Because once you go into draft, they own you.
Yeah.
And they have your
Literally,
rights. When I say
yes.
they own you, I mean the rights. You're
Yes.
pretty much under contract with them. So he immediately slots in as Phillies' number 18th overall prospect. Now, people might be thinking 18th overall. But again, he's 17.
He's 17.
He's 17.
Oh, my
He
gosh.
dominated the high school circuit this past season, going 6-0 with a very, very minimal 1.37 ERA, 65 strikeouts over 46 innings.
Yes.
This is something that, for younger Korean players, seeing somebody like this going so early it might change some people's ideas of whether I go into the KBO draft or not.
Right.
Or if I hear a whisper of, oh, you might have a chance overseas, do you take that opportunity? And then maybe you could pitch in the KBO in the meantime, kind of thing, right? You know, but I know that's a story for another day.
Yes.
But congrats to him, and then also to that high school, Gwangju Ilgo, who just keep
They're
turning them
out.
out.
Oh.
It's, there we go.
Yeah,
we're on it together. We're
that's
on it
right.
together.
Churning them out.
Yeah. So a little bit back to the live golf thing. Who are you most excited to see?
I mean,
Bryson. It's kind of
John Rahm.
Yeah.
Bryson DeChambeau.
I'm interested. I'm really want to see the Korean Country Club team. I want to see the crowd get behind them. It is also kind of a homecoming for a few of the players.
Yes.
I believe it's Danny M, or maybe I got that wrong here. I know I put it on here. Was it Kevin Nunn, Danny Lee? Sorry.
Yes.
Kind of a homecoming. But it is a massive purse as well. But it'll be, I think the crowds are going to be phenomenal. I was out at that course when the LPGA were there a few years ago. And it's a really, really good setup. It is a bit long. It is a bit long. But with this here, it's good because it is a shotgun start.
Yes.
That you can sit at one hole and watch everybody.
Yeah, meaning they start on the first tee, then
someone's on the 18th, and they're all going off. Yeah.
And so I'm actually looking forward to Anthony Kim.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like a
sure.
comeback story.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Yes. So anyhow, excited. Thank you for all the sports news, and we expect a lively report next week.
Yeah,
Thank you, Andrew.
and some Lotte Giant stuff. Don't come at me, people.
All right. This was Andrew, everybody. It's
Bye-bye.
time to wrap up for hour number 1. How about this one? Phenom by Blackpink, and I'll be back at 8.
Hey boy, make him whistle like a missile, bomb, bomb. Every time I show up, blow up, make him whistle like a missile, bomb, bomb. Every time I show up, blow up, 너무 아름다워 널 잊을 수가 없어 그 눈빛이 아직 나를 이렇게 설레게 해 boom boom 24, 365 오직 너와 같이 하고파 낮에도 이 밤에도 이렇게 너를 원해 Yeah. 모든 남자들이 날 매일 check out 대부분이 날 가질 수 있다 착각 절대 많은 걸 원치 않아 맘을 원해 난 넌 심장을 도려내 보여봐 아주 씩씩하게 때로 씩씩하게 so hot 내가 어쩔 줄 모르게 해 마지막히 불러줘 내 귓가에 도는 휘파람 피던 이대로 지나치지 마요 너도 나처럼 날 잊을 수가 없다면 내 심장이 빨개지잖아 점점 가까이 들리잖아 휘바람 바람 Can you hear that? 휘바라바라바라밤 휘바람 휘바람 바람 Can you hear that? 휘바라바라바라밤 Hold up 아무 말 하지마 Just whistle to my heart 그 소리가 지금 나를 이렇게 설레게 해 boom boom 생각은 지루해 느낌이 every day all day 내 곁에만 있어도 zoom zoom 언제나 는 silent 도도하지만 네 앞에선 darling 뜨거워지잖아 like a desert island 널 알아갈수록 울려대는 맘속 그만 내빼 넘어와라 내게 boy 이젠 checkmate 게임은 내가 win 난 널 택해 안아줘도 세게 누가 널 가로채하기 전에 내가 이대로 지나치지 마요 너도 나처럼 날 잊을 수가 없다면 널 향한 네 마음은 fire 내 심장이 빨개지잖아 점점 가까이 들리잖아 휘바람 바람 Can you hear that? 휘바라바라바라밤 휘바람 휘바람 바람 Can you hear that? 휘바라바라바라밤 This beat got me feeling like 바람처럼 스쳐가는 흔한 인연이 아니길 많은 말은 필요 없어 지금 너의 곁에
엄마 없어도 항상 씩씩하게 지내야 된다? 그 말을 가장 많이 하셨어요.
서툴게 차린 밥상으로 동생들의 식사를 챙겨보지만 넉넉지 않은 형편에 달걀 프라이 하나도 나눠 먹는 동생들을 보며 미안한 마음만 커집니다. 성민이와 동생들의 건강한 내일을 위해 여러분의 마음을 전해주세요. 후원 문의 1544-9599 굿네이버스.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어 방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. This is 8 o'clock Spotlight News. Rival parties pour all resources to solidify voter base. The ruling and opposition parties were in full campaign mode over the long weekend, with early voting for the June 3rd local elections to start this Friday. The Democratic Party, DP, has been honing in on the recent social issues involving the Starbucks controversy and a far-right online community's insults against late President Roh Moo-hyun. The opposition, People Power Party, or PPP, countered that the corporation has been made a scapegoat by the president and the DP. Both sides are focusing on the strategy to bring out their shy or hidden supporters to raise the voter turnout in key swing areas. He calls for tougher punishment for hateful speech and conduct. President Lee Jae-myung called for a public debate on introducing tougher measures against those who post hateful and derogatory content online or engage in such behavior. He named the far-right online community Ilbe in his social media posts, as well as a debate over shutting down such online forums. Lee's remarks came a day after he criticized Starbucks Korea over its 2024 promotional material that critics said evoked the 2014 Sewol ferry disaster. For Foreign Ministry calls on Israel to investigate assault claims by activists. The Foreign Ministry said yesterday it has pressed Israel to conduct a thorough investigation into claims by two South Korean activists that they were assaulted by Israeli forces after being detained aboard aid vessels bound for the Gaza Strip. The activists, Kim Ah-hyun and Kim Dong-hyun, said that they have been assaulted by Israeli forces upon their release and return to South Korea. The ministry said that it has called in the deputy Israeli ambassador to South Korea to convey its strong concerns, adding that it will respond to the situation with principle and responsibility. Police question more accusers in Starbucks case. The police are questioning additional complainants in a case against Shinsegae Group chairman Chung Yong-jin, as Chung is scheduled to issue an in-person public apology today. The Public Crime Investigation Unit at the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency questioned 5 petitioners who filed complaints against Chung and former Starbucks Korea CEO Son Jung-hyun for defamation and violation of the May 18th Special Act. Starbucks Korea also faces calls for tighter supervision by the financial authorities after its audit report showed that it had 420 billion won in prepaid funds as of last year, raising concerns over a regulatory blind spot. Trump says Iran negotiations proceeding nicely, warns of stronger attack if no deal is reached. U.S. President Donald Trump said that peace negotiations with Iran are proceeding nicely, while warning that if a peace deal is not reached, U.S. attacks would resume on a scale bigger and stronger than ever before. His remarks came amid criticism from Democrats and some Republicans who have raised questions over the potential framework of a deal, especially over Iran's nuclear program. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman has said that Washington and Tehran have reached agreements on many of the issues in their negotiations, but rejected the notion that an agreement was imminent. This was Spotlight News. This is our special interview on Tuesday morning. The latest Ebola outbreak began drawing global attention in early May in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where cases were initially believed to have spread and they were undetected. So health officials have identified the rare Ebola virus strain. I believe it's called the Bundibugyo strain, which has no widely approved vaccine, raising concerns about containment. And since then, the outbreak has killed more than 200 people and has raised fears of regional spread. The World Health Organization, or WHO, has warned the situation poses a very high regional risk and may be more widespread than currently reported. So today, we are joined by an expert to better understand what this outbreak means for global health and future pandemic preparedness. Joining us today is Dr. Amish Adalja, Senior Scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Hi, thanks for joining us today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Yes. To begin, if you could briefly explain what's happening in the current Ebola outbreak and why experts are concerned right now.
So what's happening is that there is an outbreak in a remote part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo that likely got started probably a month before it was noticed. And it's caused by a rare species of Ebola, one that the standard tests that they used there didn't pick up. And there was sort of a system failure. And the virus got a lot of momentum, lots of chains of transmission that are going to be very difficult to control. And now we have spread in 3 provinces in the DRC, as well as spread to Uganda. And the World Health Organization has declared a public health emergency of international concern. So what people are very worried about is that this is in an area that's remote, that is anarchic, that is run by militias, and it's a strain that for which we don't have countermeasures, and it's had a major head start.
Thanks for explaining the situation thoroughly. Well, Dr. Adalja, if you could briefly explain what exactly this Ebola virus is. How does it spread? What do we know about it?
So Ebola viruses all are basically located in Africa. The reservoir species where it is naturally are bats. And what happens are that bats can sometimes spill the virus into gorillas, into certain type of antelope, and maybe someone gets exposed to a bat, or someone gets exposed to a bush meat that they're cooking up, that they're cleaning, and they get cuts, they get infected. They might end up at a village health center where they may not get diagnosed with Ebola, but spread it based on the kind of contact they have with healthcare workers. And it's not spread easily. It's spread through blood and body fluids. So that's why when you see these outbreaks, many of the individuals infected are healthcare workers. Then someone dies, they have funerals. The funerals sometimes involve ceremonies where they prepare the body. That also amplifies spread, and that's kind of how the cycle goes. But because it's not a very contagious disease, a deadly, scary disease, there are kind of measures you can put in place, very simple measures that have stopped Ebola outbreaks in the past.
Yes. And so I hear that this outbreak involves a rare strain. And how does that change the way health officials respond when there are these rare strains, or sometimes if they mutate? What happens?
Well, this isn't a mutated strain. This is a rare species of Ebola, one that's caused 2 outbreaks prior to this. It's called the Bundibugyo strain. It's caused an outbreak in the DRC before and an outbreak in Uganda before.
Right.
And how that complicates the issue is less about the fact that we don't have vaccines or treatments for it, but more about the fact that when they initially had these cases occurring in that province, they tested for the more common species of Ebola.
I see.
And the test was negative, and nobody really followed up. The cases continued to occur. So the rare species really caused a delay in actually knowing that an Ebola outbreak was going on in the DRC. And obviously, it would be easier if we had vaccines against this strain, or if we had monoclonal antibodies like we do for the Zaire strain. But the biggest issue here is that the virus had a lot of momentum before anybody even noticed that this was an Ebola outbreak.
And is it true that there seems to be general distrust right now, maybe even attacks on treatment centers? Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so this area of the DRC is one that is run by certain militia gangs. The government has little control there. It's been the site of other Ebola outbreaks, including the second biggest one on record, which was several years ago. And that outbreak was characterized by people attacking healthcare workers, burning down Ebola treatment units. And the same thing is happening now. There's been at least 2 Ebola treatment units that have been attacked or burned because the population is very recalcitrant, resistant to outside help. There's a significant proportion there that believes that Ebola is fabricated. That makes it very, very challenging because you're trying to do contact tracing, you're trying to do all of these activities, and there are people there with, AK-47 machine guns. So you basically have a convergence of emergencies occurring here where this Ebola outbreak is occurring, and it makes it very, very difficult and very, very unsafe for people that are trying to extinguish this outbreak.
Right. And just so we get the facts clear, do we know the symptoms from this particular strain, or even just Ebola generally speaking? What are some of the symptoms?
So the Ebola species don't differ in the symptoms that they cause.
Okay.
So it starts out with fevers, chills, muscle aches and pains, sometimes rash, sore throat, and diarrhea. But what's happening is that this virus is spreading systemically through a body. It's causing blood vessels to become very leaky. It's causing blood pressure to plummet. It's causing organs to fail. It's causing, in half of people, your blood clotting system to become abnormal. And that's how people die. But it starts out like any kind of infectious disease with those influenza-like symptoms.
I see. And so is there proper treatment if the doctors catch it early on enough? Is it possible to cure?
People do survive from Ebola, but in order to survive, they need to be promptly treated. And that means IV fluids for hydration, electrolyte abnormalities need to be corrected. Very simple things like that. Even in the absence of a specific treatment for Ebola can go a long way to decreasing the mortality.
I see. Since COVID-19, it seems that the global outbreak response systems have improved. But in your opinion, doctor, are there still things or weaknesses that we need to be aware of?
Definitely. So what I keep alluding to is the fact that this outbreak had a 1 month head start. Why? Because of a diagnostic failure. So even after COVID, we are still slow to pick up these outbreaks. And when there's unknown clusters of illness, wherever they may be, whether that's in the DRC or whether that's in Seoul, South Korea, they need to be investigated promptly. Because if you give viruses head starts, it becomes much, much harder to extinguish them. So yes, we've got lots of science and tools, but we're not implementing them appropriately, or we wouldn't have this one month lag between these cases occurring and being noticing the outbreak. I mean, the same thing is true for the hantavirus outbreak. It took 23 days for them to realize that there was hantavirus on the ship, not because there's no diagnostic tests that exist, but because people weren't being suspicious enough about unexplained infectious syndromes. And I would also add that, you know, this is not a science and technology problem any longer when it comes to mastering infectious disease.
Right.
It's an implementation problem. It's a policy problem. And I think in South Korea, for example, when you guys had the Middle East respiratory syndrome outbreak, you saw what that was, and you saw how the government reacted to that and improved things during COVID, so that South Korea had one of the better responses to COVID because they learned from the Middle East respiratory syndrome outbreak. The world needs to follow that kind of an example where they're getting much faster and quicker to identify these outbreaks in order to minimize the cascading impact.
And not to bring doom and gloom to our listeners and viewers out there on this Tuesday morning, but how prepared do you think the world is for the so-called next major pandemic?
I don't think very well prepared. I think, yes, the science and technology is there. As I said, this is not a science technology problem.
Right.
We have an implementation problem. Policymakers at the highest levels of government don't usually view infectious disease threats or health security in the same way they view national security. It goes through boom and bust and panic neglect cycles, not something that they sustainably fund. They don't think about it as part of their national security, and they need to. And we also have voices, especially in the United States, of the anti-vaccine movement that has made major inroads. The United States is having a major year of measles, something that should have been ended long ago. Why? Not because we don't have the vaccine. It's because we have anti-vaccine officials spreading disinformation, including from the highest levels of government. We have RFK Jr. in our national government now.
Well, thank you so much for explaining what's happening with Ebola. And of course, I'm sure many of our listeners, they really did find your answers very interesting. Thanks for joining us today, Doctor. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks.
This was Dr. Amish Adalja once again talking about this current strain of the Ebola virus and what's happening mainly in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But he also mentioned that it has spread to Uganda as well. We should be well aware of what's happening in the world. And this was your special interview. And I'll be back with your updated traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic update. Let's talk about this accident on Luno Samsungdaedo from Myeongho intersection to Shinho Bridge. A cargo truck accident right past the Myeongho-gyo Bridge. There's also construction on Gaya-daedo from Kaegum intersection to Gaya underpass at the entrance at the Kaegum Alley Market. There's congestion on Jungwangdaedo from Samjeon to Seomyeon intersection, and it is slow from Manduk intersection to Namhae Expressway Deokjeon ramp. Currently, it is 22 degrees here in Busan under partially cloudy skies. The daytime high will go up to just 24. Heavy rain is forecast starting later on in the day, so make sure you are well prepared. Local authorities have preemptively banned entry to riverside trails, and a landslide alert level of caution has been issued in Busan and Gyeongnam. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for Wagga Wagga Tea Time. Haley's back.
Hello, hello.
Yes, and as a teaser in hour number one, we alluded to Haley's photos, and so here we have them.
Okay,
from
so
the weekend. So
I was
we
on
need
a road
explanation.
trip I had to write it down. We went to a lot of places, which is why it felt long. 하동, 함양, 산청, 구례, 남원, 진주를 갔다 왔습니다. So these are like smaller cities. So on the left, I think that was in 산청. That's like 제첩. They're really famous for 제첩, the little like freshwater clams. So yeah, it's the noodles, and then on the right with the lanterns, I think that's a mix of like 춘향제, you know, the story of 춘향, the love story in Namwon, plus Buddha's birthday.
Yes.
And then, again, Gwangju in Namwon, and then another temple. And I think that was in Sancheong. Yeah, so we did a lot of hiking. Yeah, a lot of climbing. There's me at it's like Samsunggung.
I love the pose.
Yeah, and
Who took the photo?
my sister did, and she was like, 예쁜 척 좀 그만해. I'm like, shh,
Hannah?
shh. Yeah, of course. She was like, stop like pretending to be,
Hannah, we feel you.
What are you going to do?
Yes.
I was like,
thank you.
조용히 사진이나 찍어.
All right, we're going to jump into some woggly news. So first, late former President Nomuyen's memorial was held in Ponga over the weekend, and there was a scandal that broke out over the event.
Right, so this past Saturday was the 17th anniversary of the death of former President Nomuyen and a man and a woman. We don't know if they're a couple or not, but a couple of people suspected to be a part of the far-right online group Ilbe came to the memorial, and they made gestures that's emblematic, that symbolize the group insulting the deceased. And for those of you who are not familiar with what Ilbe is, they are a controversial far-right group, and their online forum has become a hub for extremism and hate speech.
Yeah, so walk us through what happened.
Right, so according to the foundation's board member, attorney Cho Soo-jin, she said that she was reported of this grave incident after the ceremony.
Okay.
These two people came into the village wearing an Ilbe t-shirt and took photos with that trademark finger gesture.
Okay.
And she said that she suspects this was a challenge, an online challenge from the group. And one of the pictures included them posing next to the statue of the deceased president. For reference, the far-right subculture, they have been critical of the late progressive president and mockery against him being kind of a meme or a popular activity within the group.
Yes.
The employees tried to escort them out, but they say they couldn't stop them from just being there and walking around. And she said that this crosses a serious line.
And President Lee Jae-myung spoke about this as well.
Right, and you talked about this during highlights, but President Lee Jae-myung posted on social media after learning about this, saying that there's a need to discuss and look into shutting down sites that encourage hatred and also mockery, imposing punitive damages, 징벌적 손해배상, and other measures. And he further said that there's been debate over this issue previously as well, and that debate is free speech to protect these sites that encourage social division versus there needing to be some kind of restrictions, including punitive or punishment.
Okay.
And he said that he will order the cabinet to start having these discussions and ask for public opinion via this post. The president, as you've mentioned, he's been quite vocal about expressions of hatred against certain social tragedies, groups, or democratic movements.
Right, and speaking of which, the Starbucks Tank Day controversy doesn't show signs of abating, and the group's chairman is due to make an official statement later today. And by the way, we are just reporting on what's happening.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So Shinsegae Group's chair, Jung Yong-jin, will make a public apology today for that controversial Tank Day promotion. Shinsegae Group said that he will also brief the public on the group's own internal investigation into how that promotion came to be. Jung has already issued an apology, a written one, but it seems that after continued controversy, he will do so in person. And for reference, Jung and former Starbucks CEO Son Jung-hyun are facing police investigation for insult and defamation.
All right. Let's move on and let's talk about the BTS concert in Busan. It is coming up soon. And the authorities, as I reported on, they're working hard to make sure that accommodations are priced fairly. And the question is this, though. How is that actually happening in reality?
Not well. And it's not for the lack of trying,
Right.
but just how the market and how some people seem to be operating. So much so that some fans have sworn off spending money in Busan. And I've heard some of our listeners chime in on this during
Yes.
Tian's segment. So according to a local paper, Busanilbo's research, across these kind of mid-range 2- and 3-star hotels and lodgings in Busan, you see spikes in price. I don't know, spike is an understatement.
Okay, let's get an example.
So one hotel in Seomyeon, it charges usually like 16만 won, 160,000 won range on the day of the BTS concert. 745,000, 74만 5천 원. 16만 원에서 74만 5천 원이 됐습니다.
네.
Another hotel in Yangjong, usually on a Friday night, 50,000 won, so very much an affordable place, at a zero. And then some on BTS Day. I'm just going to call it BTS Day.
Yes.
557,000.
Wow.
55만 7천 원. So the Fair Trade Commission and the Korea Consumer Agency, they did a survey across 135 lodgings in Busan, saw an average of 2.4 to 3.3 times the increase in prices.
Well, I can see why fans are upset, even angry.
Yeah, they're like, do we look like buckets of money to you? Or just simply, I mean, number one, they can't afford it.
Yes.
And, on social media and online communities, they're saying, if they're domestic, that they will drive here, just come down for a day or take the shuttle, or they are leaving Busan. They're going to neighboring cities to book hotels there. And a lot of the fans say that this has marred the image of Busan, that it seems like some businesses are just trying to take advantage of the fans and exploit them.
Yes.
And some, of course, going as far as to say that they're going to just pack sandwiches and not spend any money in Busan.
And the thing is this, like we just reported on this morning, the city's been trying really hard to keep this from spiraling out of control.
Right, but the authorities' hands are tied.
Right.
Because, again, free market. So as long as the hotel's under the law, as long as they post the prices, doesn't matter if it's 1 million or 2 million or 50,000 won. As long as they're posted, the government cannot control how much private businesses charge. Well, the government did announce measures to uproot these ripoffs, but the relevant laws haven't passed yet, meaning that they're not going to work for the BTS concert.
That's right. So let's go over this again. The city's working on alternatives, right?
Right. So it seems that they've been fully booked, but there's a public accommodations project, including a Templesteay, and at least those seem to be popular.
Yes, yes. In that vein, there is a new trend in concert culture that has received, I guess, mixed reviews.
Right. So anytime you go to a movie or a concert, and if you're on the vertically challenged side, so much so that you need a booster, you're like, if there's a tall person sitting in front of you, you're just like, wait, what's happening? What's happening on stage? Well, and now some people are not only bringing boosters, but platform shoes. And when I say platform, I mean Exhibit A platforms. They're called standing shoes.
Standing.
So these platforms are about 10 to up to 22 centimeters high. So these are fans these are for fans who have the so-called standing section tickets. And they're trying to make sure they have a good line of sight.
Wow.
So these have become the new it item for concerts and school festivals. Because in the past, we have seen people wearing what so-called cheerleading shoes, 7 to 10 centimeter platforms. But these ultra-high platforms have become a new sighting, kind of the result of people trying to one-up each other.
Sure.
And by the way, you can apparently rent them with a 20,000 won deposit, 15,000 won per day.
Right, but I have to say, they look dangerously high. I see sprained ankles in the future.
Oh yeah, and as we in Korean colloquially say, 발목 나간다. Right? Absolutely safety concern. Not just you spraining your ankle, but fall risk. And if you are in a mosh pit of a concert standing area, you can fall like dominoes if the person next to you is wearing the shoes too. And others report them trying to practice walking and falling off of them. And orthopedic experts warn about the pressure these shoes can have not only on your toes, ankles, but knees all the way to your back.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't know. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So 22 centimeter shoe is definitely a climb. But let's end this on a real mountain climbing story, not climbing shoes or tall shoes.
Yeah, we're not just climbing over shoes. Well, not me, but a lot of people are climbing Mount Everest.
Ooh.
And I mean a lot. A lot. So reaching the summit of Mount Everest, that's a privilege. That's a physical feat for most elite climbers.
Of course.
But last Wednesday, 274 people scaled that mountain in one day.
274
people on Mount Everest. We're not just talking like 금정산,
right?
But one day. So this was a rush because climate change, because of this huge block of ice that was blocking the route. This year's spring climbing season had a very late start, so thus the rush. And according to Nepal's tourism department, the climbing began at 3 a.m. local time, continued for 11 hours.
Yes.
And Everest, though, it seems more popular as ever. About 500 foreign climbers have been given permits to scale the peak. That's a record high. But the actual population density is going to be at least double that because most of the foreign climbers will be accompanied by what are called Sherpas, so assistants that carry, or local guides that carry the load with you.
Yes.
So on Sunday local time, one renowned Nepali mountain guide, Kami Rita Sherpa, who's 56 years old, smashed his own world record for most summits or most climbs to the summits to Everest. So this 56-year-old climbed Everest for the 32nd time. So let that sink in. 56,
Yes.
yeah.
Wow. So are there concerns with such a high volume of climbers? So many climbers.
Absolutely, because most climbers, especially, again, those who are not used to that, living in that altitude, they will need supplemental oxygen for that high of a level.
Okay.
But if there are more people on the path, you're going to spend more time. So you're going to have to carry more oxygen. So that could be dangerous. And there absolutely have been several deaths, including the first mountaineer from Nepal's underprivileged area to scale, the first one to scale Mount Everest.
Yes. Well, thank you for all the Waggy news. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right. We are ready for a song. And what a perfect song. Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Remember the day I set you free. I told you you could always count on me, darling. From that day on, I made a vow. I'll be there when you want me, some way, somehow.
'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Oh, no, darling.
No wind, no rain, or winter's cold can stop me, baby.
No, no, baby.
'Cause you are my goal.
I'll be there on the double. Just sing this for me, oh, baby.
My love is alive, way down in my heart. Although we are miles apart,
If you ever need
a helping hand, I'll be there on the double as fast as I can. And don't you know that there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, babe. Don't you know that there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
Traffic is so bad. Let's see what's on the radio.
Get the latest news and current issues that you need here on Morning Wave in Busan. You're now listening to Morning Wave in Busan with me, Catherine. Welcome back, everybody. It's time to actually check out some of your messages. And by the way, thank you for sending in the photos. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to get to this photo of Bear H-Neem, who went to visit Art Busan. So that happened over the weekend. So thank you for sending us this beautiful photo. I'll be honest, not sure who the artist is, but yes, got our creative juices flowing on this Tuesday morning. Next up, we have Benny Neem, who sent us in Ooh, what he had over the weekend. Lots of food, I'm assuming. Oh, I see donuts. That looks like some sort of cutlet, something fried, or it could be, let's see, does he explain that it looks like something regarding, is it fried chicken? I'm not sure, but it looks really, really savory and tasty. So thank you for sending in your photos. And now we're going to get to Haeyeon and the Trend Whisperer. Dun, dun, dun.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah. It was a good long weekend.
What did you do?
I had some shows.
Yes.
But also yesterday, the last day of the long weekend, got together with my family and we did our favorite pastime.
Which is?
Watching movies and napping. So I hope my brother doesn't see this, but it was adorable because they have a new puppy that they adopted.
Oh, the one that you were kind of
I was fostering for a little.
yeah.
So it was just so cute. The two of them just napping together.
Aww.
It was like almost like a napping domino game. Like one person wakes up from a nap and then someone else falls asleep. It was just a few hours of that, and I really loved it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
The relay.
It's a nap relay.
Yes, love it.
Look at that.
So
yeah.
cute. Your brother too.
Yes. More so the puppy.
Yeah. Well, we're going to jump into a trend whisper. So what are we talking about today?
Okay, so Kat, I have a very serious cultural touchstone.
Okay.
Thing to bring you. Are you ready for this? Okay.
I'm so
it's
ready.
Quite serious. So,
okay, what is it?
Gen Z has discovered foot bags, better known as as what we know as hacky sacks.
Hacky sacks? What are foot bags? What the heck are foot bags? What are we talking about? Bags? Like
Yes.
bags?
So hacky sacks. Now, I wonder if you have specific memories of this from your California days.
Well, I have to say that they were used in many a games. And I was never much of a drinker, but a sake hack is it was just always around.
Yeah,
it was always
was.
there.
Hacky sack, sake hack. I mean, it's basically the little bean bags, right? They're very tiny, and you kick them around with your foot.
Yes.
And when I think about hacky sacks, it takes me back to movies, American movies from the 80s and 90s. So in the background, there's a roommate character just tossing around the hacky sack.
Sure.
But what's interesting is that right now, this trend, it's not just a few teenagers on social media. They are suddenly showing up in troves in
really?
high schools, gyms, cafeterias, and also social media.
Like in the U.S.?
feeds. Yes, in the U.S.
Oh.
And apparently, according to recent reports, this trend seems to have taken off, especially in areas like Massachusetts and Connecticut.
Oh,
so
East
the
Coast.
East Coast. And the fun part is, it is spreading through social media, but the actual activity, you have to be in person. You know?
Right.
So I've seen videos of we actually have a visual.
It's like chuggy.
It basically is, yeah. So I bet a lot of different cultures, and they come in different materials. Like we see some crocheted ones here.
Yeah.
Some are studded. Some are filled with sand. So in case people who aren't familiar with hacky sacks, it's like a low pressure soccer circle.
Yes.
So a group of people, it can be 2 or 3 or a larger group. You stand around, and then you kind of keep this little beanbag in the air, kicking it from one person to another.
Sure.
So the only rule is you can't use your hands.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
But you can use, other parts of your body, your feet, your knees.
Ooh.
Some people even use their chest and their shoulder.
Trapping it like soccer?
Yeah, it gets.
Oh my gosh.
It gets pretty fun, and you could make it competitive, but it's not really about winning or losing.
It's like a team effort.
It's a team effort. It's just about keeping this little tiny bag, just rallying together.
I imagine, though, the fact that, of course, Gen Z or, what is Gen Alpha these days, that they're doing this, and, we're talking like real youngsters here. I imagine parents of teens are welcoming this trend because they're off their phone.
Right.
Yes.
I would imagine so, too, because, you have to get off the phone for this.
Yes.
And I like the image of, children just standing around, kicking this foot bag around. It's healthier.
Yes.
And one teacher in Austin said that seeing students play hacky sack felt like a real big flashback to the 90s. She hadn't seen one in years, and suddenly students were playing everywhere. I'm seeing videos online of, just like videos kind of sweeping through the whole like schoolyard.
Sure.
And just different, like several groups of students playing it. Yeah.
Right.
So this is interesting. And also, stores are noticing it too. Hacky sacks that used to sell just a few a week are now selling by the dozens.
Right.
And some shops are getting calls from people asking, I need a hacky sack right now.
Like now,
Do you
stat.
have them? So the demand has jumped very fast, and it's getting actually pretty hard to find one.
But I have a question for you. Why now?
Right?
All of a sudden?
Okay, so there seems to be a few factors.
Okay.
First, this trend fits perfectly into Gen Z's love of ironic nostalgia.
Ooh.
Nostalgia is fun, and they like to joke around with it.
Sure.
They're good at taking something old and slightly uncool and then turning it into a joke.
Sure.
But then, as it does with several trends, the joke kind of becomes sincere and real. Yeah. So now teens are treating hacky sack like an official school sport.
Wow.
They're making fake varsity teams. Some schools, they rank each other, and some dramatic highlight videos I've seen too.
Right.
And that's the fun part. Hacky sack, it's very low stakes, but you can treat it like an Olympic. And underneath the joke, there's something real going on, which brings us to our second reason.
What is that?
People, even young people, are craving screen-free social activities.
Oh, finally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I see so many children these days. They get together to hang out, and they're looking at each of their phones.
It's really kind of a sad state of affairs. But
yeah.
It's true.
And they are online all the time, but it seems like a lot of young people, they're also tired of it. Yeah. So that's why this trend works. First of all, it's simple. It's cheap. Affordable.
Yes.
You don't need a cord. You can do it anywhere. Just a few friends, a little open space, and a tiny foot bag. Yeah.
Right. So I love the fact that it's so accessible.
Yeah.
Like you say, it doesn't cost much. Everybody can get involved. It doesn't have to be uber competitive.
Yeah.
But it's basically just to keep it going, to keep it alive.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And it being approachable, it could be a very intergenerational game too.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Similar to Tegi. Yeah.
But
Have you tried
Tegi is not hard. It's not easy.
I think it's harder because it has that hard surface,
Right.
and it's a little more difficult to balance it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the surface of it as well. Whereas the hacky sack or the foot bags, there's some give to them, right?
Yeah. There's some give. You can kind of use different parts of your body.
Oh, I want to see hand doing it. But different parts of the body.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yes.
So yeah, and also when you're playing with the hacky sack, everybody looks a little ridiculous.
But I think that's the beauty of this. Is
It
it
is.
not?
Even the cool kids, the
Right.
athletic kids, they're all gonna look a little silly, and that awkwardness makes it easier. You don't have to be good or athletic to join in.
I love this idea
Yeah.
because, like you said, cross-generational. I mean, what a great way to just, have some fun, relieve some tension.
I know that you can get a little competitive with games.
A little.
A little.
Just a little.
So if you want to, listeners, you could make it into a very competitive thing too.
Like how many you can do on your own.
Yeah, and whoever misses it,
Right.
they have to be vanished.
Yeah, they have to be vanished.
We're seeing
offing you.
Yeah, we're seeing more lively photos of
Oh, I
young
like.
teens playing hacky sack.
We gotta get one. 피디님 우리 구해주세요.
I mean, honestly, we could even just devise one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put some sand in a little cloth bag.
Yeah.
I'm happy to make one.
Okay.
And there seems to be another layer to this trend, which
Sure.
is every generation, we all have a little object that brings social bonding.
Oh, let's go through
So
some
if
of
you
them.
think about it, so
Yes.
for some people it was yo-yos.
Oh, were you into yo-yos?
Not me.
I was not. I was never
Yo-yo
good
is
with a
actually
yo-yo.
quite difficult too, to do those tricks.
And sometimes, they have all those tricks, and we're just I can barely,
Yeah.
wrap the string around.
Yeah.
Go down once and up. That's about it.
That wasn't it. It didn't feel that great. Yeah.
Okay.
And our PD name is saying also 공기, the traditional Korean game.
I don't know. Maybe I think we're of the same generation.
yeah.
In the States, I remember it wasn't obviously. I talked about that red ball and the spiky jacks.
Yes.
That was for my friends and I. We didn't play that per se. That was kind of like before, like I think generation prior.
Yeah.
We made our own jacks with these plastic round like clips, and you buy like all different pretty colors, and you made your own. We made our own.
And then
They were like little rings, but they were all plastic.
And the rules of that game
It's the
was
same,
it?
though.
It's the same. Okay,
Right, but
yeah.
it was we made them our own.
Oh, I love
And
that.
with the little plastic rings, and it was so pretty. But anyways, so
with
that was
the
a thing.
With the Korean version of 공기, I mean, it was like a tournament, a school-wide tournament every recess
Right.
when I was going to school in in Korea. And we would customize ours too. Some players preferred the little stones lighter.
Yes.
Some players like me, I prefer them much like heftier. So like, really, cram in little things inside to make it heavy.
Okay. So we went through yo-yos and of course 공기. What else?
And then of course the Denkemon cards for some, right?
Yeah.
And I at first thought it was just about collecting them, but I noticed the young people it was about storytelling.
Sure.
Yeah, very. And then more recently, there's fidget spinners. There's slime, of course.
Oh my gosh, the slime! My kids were so into the slime.
And it is a social bonding thing I've noticed. They like feel it together.
They have slime cafes. And my two daughters, my girls, even though they're in college, they confessed to me over the weekend. They're like,
they still have them?
No, they went and bought some. And I'm like, 나이가 몇 갠데? How old are you?
I mean, it's also a sensory thing
It's
too.
sensory, and they're
Yeah.
like, it's a stress reliever.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, and I was just like, okay, but make sure it's like the organic kind, not the toxic kind that you
Yeah.
hear in the news all the time. They're like, oh, don't worry.
Also, do you remember friendship bracelets?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they were great too.
Right. And I used to love just like making them.
I would make them together with my friends.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a good one too.
So these tiny little objects, they become a reason to gather. But, this isn't the first time that hacky sacks are a big trend, right? So they've been around since the 1970s.
Yes.
And as we've mentioned before, they really took off in America in the 80s and 90s, especially on college campuses.
Sure.
A lot of music festivals too. And I'll just say this, perhaps beloved by folks who were also fans of Cheech and Chong.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If you know Cheech and Chong.
Yes. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yes.
But Gen Z is giving it a new spin. So it's less like a chill park hobby, and it's become this meme sport, complete with all of their social media hashtags. So yeah, taking an old analog toy and giving it a digital personality. I love it. Yeah.
I like it. The fact that these older trends are kind of anew.
Yeah.
And like it's like updated, but the fact that so many people are into these like trends that we remember from back in the day. So I'm thinking, I don't know, what do you think will make a comeback next? It's tough to say, but
it's tough to say. Do you remember those bracelets? Maybe they did make a slight comeback a few years ago. Those bracelets that you kind of slap onto your wrist.
And then they wrap around.
Yeah, they might have had some hazards too, but causing some injuries. Maybe
Toxic
that.
materials,
And 공기 game, I'm sure it's still played by young children, but I would love to see it like just everyone just in the playgrounds, seeing children back outside playing together. Yeah.
Yes. And you know what I hope makes a comeback, because I never participated in the what is it, the 고무줄, the long
yes, the Korean style jump rope game.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never I've only seen it, and I've always wanted to participate, but I've never really tried it. So I hope it makes a comeback.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I feel like Haley would lead that movement too. I can see Haley really being good at it.
Well, we shall ask her.
Yeah. All right.
Our producer says skinny jean만 안 오면 된대요. Yeah, we don't like that trend.
I really hope that doesn't.
So what are
come
your
back.
final thoughts on this whole hacky sack? Not just this, but all the things that are kind of coming back.
So it's saying that, young people, the young generation, they're missing casual togetherness. Yeah. So we're in this world where so much of our social life is scheduled and optimized and recorded. And there's something really refreshing about just a game where the whole point is just to, don't let the sack touch the ground.
I mean, it's so
the
simple.
simplicity, yeah.
It's so simple, yet, I mean, it takes our mind off whatever's
Yeah.
happening. It's something that can really definitely bring people together.
And here's the thing,
Yes.
when I want to hang out with friends,
Uh-huh.
sometimes these deep emotional conversations are great.
Right.
And it feels so meaningful. But other times I want company, but I don't want to get too deep into these conversations.
Right, but you know what I've been doing with my niece and nephew lately is there's a show that I can't mention the name, but they do these silly tasks, and it's like simple, like, having like a tissue and blowing it up into the air, but keeping it up. In the air.
This is like the tissue version of hacky sack.
Exactly. So we've done that, but we did that over the weekend, and I felt like I was going to pass out because we were blowing so much. Wait. And it was like, seriously? Oh, maybe that's why I have the migraine.
Oh my! Did you play for like a pretty long time?
Long time. So that might have.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So be careful with that game. Give a little time limit.
Yes.
But yeah, so when you want that, just casual hanging out together, these little games, they're really great.
I love.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing us nostalgia with the
I
hacky
know.
sack. And
I
maybe we
love
can
it.
also try the Korean style if we can't get our hands on it, make it ourselves. Do the tegi as well.
I mean, really, I'm
Yes.
pretty serious about this. What do we think about a BFM nostalgia game tournament?
I would love it.
Let's do
Bring
that.
it on.
The
All
sack
right.
is back, and I did also want to mention this game, just like a reason to look up and gather around.
Sure.
I hope we can all find that in our lives.
Well, thank you, Trend Whisper Han, for bringing this to our attention. We'll check in with you next week.
All right, bye everyone.
Everybody, once again, this was Han. Before I let everybody, all of you go today, I have a safety message from the Ministry of the Interior and Safety as heavy rain is forecast across the nation. Don't go near creeks, rivers, or anywhere with flood risks, as well as spots with concerns for landslides or collapses. If you are underground and see water levels rising, immediately evacuate to above ground levels and firmly fix down anything that could get blown away in the wind. If you see gutters or rain catchers that need attention, report it to the 안전신문고. That's the safety e-report. And of course, Busan, we have so many mountainous roads, so be extra careful when driving. Once again, we're expecting the rain later on this afternoon. Make sure you're prepared, you have your umbrella, and if you can, please stay indoors. So it's a Tuesday, feeling like it's a Monday, but it's definitely Tuesday. Once again, here locally in Busan, of course, we have the Youth Sports Festival going on. And for everybody who is involved, for those parents out there, or just the public in general, that we can be supportive of our youth. Let's do that. It's time to wrap up Tuesday morning. So here it is. This is Euphoria by BTS. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
너는 내 삶에 다시 뜬 햇빛 어린 시절 내 꿈들의 재림 모르겠어 이 감정이 뭔지 혹시 여기도 꿈속인 건지 꿈은 사막의 푸른 신기루 내 깊은 곳에 아프리오리 just